Hello everyone, this is Rick with AmazingAccuracy.com and this is a training video. The information I'm going to be covering here is nothing new. It's been hashed over many times over the last 2 decades in our training videos. Here I am on June 6th, 2021 on a Sunday. It's raining outside. I'm nice and comfy in my home office and I thought, you know what? Let's take a look at this corn market here and use it as a training vehicle that is, well, more recent. Okay, so let's get right into it. In this subject, we're going to be talking about pre-confirmation setups. We're looking at the corn market, as you can see here. This is the daily chart. The D here for daily and corn is the market. And for those not familiar, this is the provisions charting software that is made available for use by our Platinum Premium members, our Gold Premium members. If you're one of our members going all the way back to the 90s, you would probably be a Gold Premium member, but we got rid of that a long time ago, and all we have is these days is Platinum, or we're just plain Premium member. And Premium members have access to this software, and it's got some really super tools that you're just not going to get anywhere else, and definitely not in one application. Highly worth being a premium member over, in my humble opinion. But right now I'm not going to be hyping on the different tools that this application has, but I want to just let you know what I'm using here. All right. So we're looking here at a daily chart of corn, and the reason why I wanted to look at corn is because it had been in a serious bull market here, and it's still technically a bull market. So I'm not speaking as if, oh, it came to an end, though it could have. But you can see that since making a serious bottom last August of 2020, it has been on one serious run up. Okay. And you can see up here the very last weekly price bar that made the top some 4 weeks ago was week ending May 7th. And I put the little date up here so that it's easy to see. But you can always look down here, the date. So whatever bar you put your mouse over, you can just see that it says 5/7/2021. All right. Now, when we're dealing with something called a pre-confirmation setup, whether it's a buy setup or sell setup, we first need to understand what is a regular setup. And a regular setup is this, okay? I try to simplify it as best I can. The direction that we trade in, that's suggested if you're going with the guidelines. You don't have to trade FDates with the guidelines, okay? That is just, it gives you something in case you didn't have already created something of your own. And how that works is that you look to be a buyer. In other words, you look for buy setups if the last confirmed weekly turn happened to be a bottom, a weekly swing bottom. Okay, so if you had a weekly swing bottom, clearly cycle-wise, price is moving towards eventually finding a weekly swing top. So until it does, we trade in that direction. We trade away from the last weekly swing. So if the last weekly swing is a bottom, so for example, down here, let's see, that would be right there. You can see where my mouse is. That's week ending August 7, 2020. Well, the following week, okay, made a higher high, did not go below that low, confirming that as a weekly swing bottom. Well, so from this point until we actually confirmed a weekly swing top, we would be looking for buy setups. We would not be looking for sell setups. So we would be looking for buy setups on the daily chart for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, And then we have an outside bar here. So here we have a situation where it is a potential swing top or swing bottom. Well, we have to wait to see which way it confirms. Boom, it confirms as a bottom. So that's a top, that's a bottom, and we're still buying because the last weekly swing is a bottom. So we're looking for buy setups, looking for buy setups, looking for buy setups, and then a weekly swing top. Let's see, which one would that be? 405 and 40, that's 407. That's an inside bar. We still don't have it yet, so it's just making a higher swing bottom. We're still buy setups, buy setups, buy setups. Another outside bar, buy setups, buy setups, buy setups, buy set. Okay, all right. Well, you get what I'm saying here. Until we get ourselves a nice firm swing top weekly, we're looking for buy setups. All right, so this pretty much was for most of this trend here. We have been looking for buy setups pretty much all the way up. Okay, now we come to this week 5-7. Why is that important? Well, let me show you something here, and I want you to take note of this. This is the FDate report of 5-7. All right. Now, the previous FDate report was of April 30. And you can see by looking at the 5-7 FDate report that the very last FDate was 5-7. You see that right here? Because it's in the previous column, which means it's the last FDate of the previous report. Okay? That's what that is. The rest of this has been noised out because the public can watch this training video, and this information is only is privileged information for FDate members only. So I am just phasing it all out. We're going to focus strictly on corn right here, corn. Okay. So here are the dates I want you to remember. All right. On the daily turn dates, the dates were 5-7, 5-11, and might as well remember 5-17. Okay. Not that 5-17 means anything to us at this point, but we are interested in 5-11, and you'll see why in a moment. Okay, but it was 5-7, 5-11, 5-17. Now in the weekly turn dates, which is important, I want you to note we have week ending April 30th. Okay, and at this time we're not concerned with the future weekly turn. We're concerned with the present, and we can see that week ending April 30, and we're talking week ending 5-7, it is within 1 bar. See down here, plus or minus 1 bar. All right, that's why that's important to us. So going back to the weekly chart, if you look at the actual weekly price bar represented by that FDate, weekly FDate, that would be that one right there. Now, at the time that this week occurred, we already knew without a doubt, no question whatsoever, that if a weekly turn is going to occur for that weekly FDate, it would have to be this bar right here. Why can I say that? Because by the time 5-7 came around, what did we already know about this FDate, this April 30 FDate? We knew that the -1 bar could not be a weekly turn because its high was taken out. Its low is not the lowest. It's not a swing. We know that the week of April 30th itself cannot be a weekly turn because its high was also taken out come the following week. Now we sit on week ending 5-7 as the only possible price bar on the weekly chart that can produce a weekly swing top for our weekly FDate. You see how +1 bars, where the -1 and on time bars have already been eliminated, are the best forecasting bars because the probability just shoots through the roof that it has to turn into a weekly swing. It's just really high probability. It's not guaranteed. Nothing in market analysis is guaranteed. But boy, are the probabilities high, especially when we're dealing with FDates. Now, on 5/7, which is this very top we know in hindsight, because today is June 6th, and that's 5/7, that is hindsight by a whole month, right? But it allows us to do this lesson. I can go back and tell you about it. But if you were to just forget everything that happens after here, you don't have any idea what's happening here. None of this is here, okay? None of this is here. I could do this, for example. I can go and move this over like this, and we got to get one more bar in there. There we go. Okay, so we can just do it like that. All right. Here we are, and it's, let's see, that's not the bar. Let's see, 6, 7. There we go. All right, so here we are. The week ended. It's a weekend. We're relaxing with our kids, spouses, whatever the case may be, and we're looking at what we might possibly do in one of the markets. And we look at corn and we go, I notice that corn has not yet confirmed a weekly swing within its F date. Huh. Okay. Well, I'm going to write a note. I'm going to take that down and I'm going to look at what happens in the following week. Now, when Monday of the following week shows up, boom, okay, we see that our F date, our daily F date of 5/7 did in fact produce a swing top. Yay, okay, that's great, wonderful. But it's not technically tradable unless you're a kamikaze trader and like to trade against the trend. And you're not trading based on the guidelines. Do what you want. I don't tell anybody how to trade F dates. They just trade it the way they want to do it. All right. But if we're going to do it based on the guidelines, just give you something, a foundation to push off on. Uh, we would not do anything with this F date. It's great. Hey, it made a turn. Okay, that's great. However, we don't have a setup. Now, let me get back to the setups again. If we had a confirmed weekly swing bottom, for example, we would be looking for buy setups. If we had a weekly swing top that was already confirmed, we'd be looking for sell setups. But in this case right now, all we have is a confirmed weekly swing bottom made weeks ago. So we've only been looking at buy setups. And we could actually trade this as a buy setup. Why? Because the last confirmed weekly swing is still a bottom. We've been looking for buy setups. This price bar is a potential higher swing bottom, and it's within 1 day of an F date, which is the 5/7 F date. But you would be out of your mind. And why I could say that whether it's hindsight or today happens to be May 10th, which is the one I'm highlighting here. Why? Because what did we just talk about? We said that we had a super high probability of a weekly swing top, right? And on the daily F dates, we knew that we were going to get, well, likely a swing, whether it's a bottom or a top. We didn't know in advance which is which for the daily F date 5/7. But now we have a swing top for 5/7, which is also a possible weekly swing top for a weekly F date that has yet to confirm a weekly swing of any kind, right? So what possible weekly swing could that F date possibly provide? Only a top. And this week here can only provide a weekly swing top for that F date because we already saw that the -1 bar cannot and the on time one cannot, right? Weekly chart right here. There's the F date. It can't be before. It can't be on. It can only be the following week, right? Okay, and it looks like I messed this up, so let me get this back where it was so we can keep playing with it. All right. Okay. overshoot. That's what I'm doing. All right. So now that we know what a buy setup and a sell setup is, they're based on confirmed weekly swings. It doesn't matter whether that weekly swing was in a weekly F date or not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's already confirmed, right? Okay. A pre-confirmation setup is based on the expectation or the possibility or the probability that we are going to confirm a weekly turn. You see the difference there? That's why it's called pre-confirmation. Because it's a setup based on an expectation, not a reality. All right? Normal sell setups are based on the reality that a weekly swing top has in fact confirmed. There, you can see it. It's now history. It's etched in stone. Okay. Now you have a possible lower swing top daily bar. Okay. You would have a sell. You would have a sell setup if that bar happens to be within 1 day of a trading day of an F date. In this case here, we are expecting a weekly swing top, but it has yet to confirm as one. So if we end up with a potential lower swing top on the daily chart that is within an F date, let's just bring the next bar up. Boom, right there on 5/11. Remember that date, 5/11? Okay, so we had 5/7, we have 5/11. That was on the F date report, right? So here you've been looking since the weekend, you've been keeping your eye on this market. You saw, okay, you have a confirmed daily swing top. So far, so good. That week is starting to look like it's shaping up to be a weekly swing top. Okay, but we don't have a sell setup yet. Then on 5/11, you look at that. The day has ended. Trading is already closed for the day. You got your end of day data here, and you look at this and you go, well, look at that. I have this outside bar, okay? An outside bar meaning that is a higher high than the previous high and a lower low than the previous low, right? Because it envelops the whole previous bar. This bar, if it's followed by lower prices, okay, if the low is exceeded in the following day or days while the high holds, it's going to become a swing top. And as far as its relation to the weekly high, it would be a lower swing top because the high here is lower than that one. See that? Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now, this is on an F date. Okay, this is a pre-confirmation sell setup because it is a sell setup under the basis that we are expecting a weekly swing top to confirm. And again, the reason we're expecting it is because it's in this case, it's in an F date, weekly F date, and that weekly F date at this point has yet to confirm a weekly swing of any kind. I mean, you couldn't ask for better than that. Okay? So F dates is painting this beautiful, beautiful cycle pattern for you here. It's telling you, the time frame window for a weekly swing top, and it's telling you on the daily time frame, that you're going to have this turn on 5/7. We don't 5/7 didn't even have to be a date. It doesn't matter. You don't care. You can't trade it, right? You can't trade it. But 5/11, you can trade it, all right? Because it's a potential lower swing top following a potential weekly swing top. This is how trends start, all right? This is how trends start. You start with your top, prices go down, prices go up, but they never go up higher than the actual start of that trend, and then they go down even lower. The zigzag pattern. So important to get that embedded in your mind. All right. So on 5/11, you say, all right, well, I have a pre-confirmation sell setup. What do I do with it? Well, What does the guideline say? You would place a sell order one tick below the low of that setup bar. All right, so let's just go ahead and put a line here. All right, and just breaking that low right there is to trigger a sell. All right, is to trigger a sell. So you put your order in, and the next day, what happens here? Well, let's see. The low of the setup was 703.25. The next day, the low was an inside bar of 703.50. Nothing gets triggered. All right? So you have an option. You can put it below this low, or you can put it below this low, because either one of these will confirm that as a swing top if it's hit. All right? So you want to save one tick? Woohoo! Okay, go ahead. Move it up. But put your sell setup, or your sell order, I should say, stop order, okay, below the low, and we just sit and wait until the next day to see if it gets hit. And bam, okay, we are in, we're short, all right? Now this market was so giving, because it was such a nice range down and it closed at the very low. Do you know what that means about trailing stops? You can move that trailing stop way down to here and it can be virtually a free trade. If you don't want to risk, it knocking you out, keep your stop up here for the meanwhile until it maybe makes one more lower low. I don't know. It's up to you. Okay? Everybody has a different level of how they can handle risk emotionally. So for example, you could put your stop here, move it down to here. You can move it right where you got in so that if you get stopped out, you didn't lose anything, you didn't gain anything. It's up to you. But we are now well into profit for our new trade. But what else just happened here? What else just happened here? Well, let's see. What's the low here? The low is 674.75. If I go to the weekly chart, if I look at the low of this weekly bar here, it's 674. All right, it's 674. So let's go back to where we were here. And this went to 674.75. It still has not confirmed as a weekly swing top yet. But boy, oh boy, it sure looked like it's going to. And we're already into profit. So hey, it's not a big deal one way or the other, right? Okay. And then the market just goes ahead and, oh, wow, goes even lower. Okay, and I would definitely start moving that stop into profit at this point. Okay, but now this has confirmed as a weekly swing top. So the weekly F date was a success. Our assumptions that it would be a weekly swing top was spot on because it couldn't have been anything else, being the +1 bar. And our pre-confirmation setup was a very low risk situation, which just gave us really good profit right away. So we move over to the next day and we see, okay, here we are. We have this positive bar here. It moved just a little bit, tiny bar, but this is the F date bar, right? 517. We may be looking at a bounce here. It's possible it can go one more bar down, right? +1. In this case here, we're looking at 517 and then boom, yeah. Guess what? It confirmed as a daily swing bottom. So 5.7, 5.11, 5.17. I mean, take a look at that. 5.7, 5.11, 5.17. We ended up with a weekly swing top here. But remember, you don't trade into an F date, you trade from an F date. So in this case, notice here was the F date. We're trading from it. We're not trading towards an F date. All right. So what you do is you move your stop, you trail it until it stops you out, and then you're out of the trade. You don't get out of the trade just because you've now entered the next F date. How fantastic it is when you can narrow things down to precision entries like the corn market offered with the weekly turn date and with the daily turn dates. And in this case, it nailed it, bam, 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 every single time. I'm going to go ahead and conclude this video. If, of course, you have any questions whatsoever, you know that my door is always open. Just shoot me an email, and I'll be more than happy to help you out, walk you through whatever, and go from there. All right. Well, thanks for watching, and until the next video, bye.